So when we're talking about the presidential debates, how do you see the Green Party and parties like the Libertarian Party and other third and fourth party candidates, how do you see them getting into the presidential debates with the Democrat and Republican?
The American people is who's locked out of the debates right now. We know Republicans are 21% of the electorate, Democrats are 29%, but the largest block of voters are people who have walked away from the Democratic and Republican parties because they've been throwing us under the bus, and they have sold out to predatory banks and fossil fuel giants and war profiteers. So the American people aren't dumb. They are clamoring for more voices and more choices. And if you look back over the history of progressive politics, in fact, all forward progress stopped with the New Deal coalition when the independent parties joined with the Democrats to pass the New Deal. And at that point, things began to start unraveling, and they've continued unraveling ever since. So third parties are not just okay, they're absolutely essential if we are to overcome the power of concentrated wealth, which has only become more and more concentrated over the years and the decades, to where it's really a state of emergency right now. So we have a couple of legal cases that the Libertarians and the Greens are doing together to try to force the Commission on Presidential Debates to open up. That commission is it's really a scam. It's a fraud. In the words of the League of Women Voters, it's a fraud being committed on the American people, because its purpose is to basically shut down debates. It's not a public institution. It is run by the Democratic and Republican parties for the purpose of constraining debate, which is no debate at all if it's just the two corporate parties. So this is about us as a people standing up for our right to a democracy, our right to be heard, a right to have more voices and more choices that aren't controlled by the corporate duopoly that is throwing us over the cliff. And it's very important that we fight this not only in the courts, but also out in the streets, and that we take actions like hundreds of people were arrested this week in Washington, D.C. In the interest of getting money out of politics. So we may be called on to do similar actions to try to open up the debates. In 2002, the first election that I ran in, there were huge demonstrations to try to open up the governor's debates in Massachusetts, and we succeeded in doing that by refusing to take no for an answer. I think the stakes have only gotten higher, whether you're talking about the jobs that we don't have, the decent wages that people are not paid, the incredible debt that an entire generation is trapped in, the black lives that are on the firing line, the climate that is collapsing in around us. This is not a future that can be survived. So it's really important for us to reject the lesser evil, to reject the propaganda of powerlessness, to stand up and assert the power that we do have, to reject the lesser evil and to fight for the greater good, like our lives depend on it, because they do.